Are you thinking of moving to Kenya and staying here on a tourist visa for a long time? Before you make that decision, let me tell you a couple of things about the downside of doing so. If you really plan to stay in Kenya for a long time, you should listen to this. My name is Marvin and I moved 2 years ago from Germany to Kenya myself, so I went through the visa process to make things easier and get my own peace of mind. So ever since, I'm trying to show you what kind of things you could do to make things easier for your own stay and journey to moving to Kenya. So let's dive right into the topic and start discussing the tourist visa itself. So first off, you get granted 90 days depending where you're from, but from my case and many Westerners, it's 90 days and you can extend these 90 days for another 90 days. Officially, you just have to apply online for it, go to the immigration office in Nairobi as far as I'm concerned. Maybe there's another one in Mombasa, but you can extend it without many issues to stay in Kenya for 180 days without any problems. But what do you do after these 180 days? I met a lot of people that are just doing the visa runs. So it's a possibility for you, it could work. So you just leave Kenya, you go to another country around the corner and come back crossing the border to Kenya and just apply for a new visa. This could work. Or you go back to your home country and then you come back to Kenya. This is something that works. So I never went through this myself, but I heard a lot of stories from people I know and I met along the way that went through this way. And what I heard from them is that the immigration on the borders will always give you some trouble because they're not happy that you're using the system this way. Even if it's possible to do so, they're not always very happy and they will just get on your nerves all the time and they will put you through any kind of stress that is just unnecessary for you entering the country. I also never heard the case that anyone got denied the entry into Kenya because of anything like this. So it is a potential way that you could use to stay in Kenya. But there are a couple of things I want to mention here. If you're really planning a life in Kenya and you want to live in Kenya long term and like trying to build something on the ground in Kenya, that you can build your life over there, first off, it's not the thing that will give you the most peace of mind. Because first off, think about it. You need to fly out every 6 months or like move across borders every 6 months. And sometimes it can be annoying because you have to fly somewhere, you have to, get a bus somewhere, you have to stay somewhere for a couple of days. Even if it's nice, you're also spending a lot of money every 6 months. Even if this is nice sometimes to travel somewhere, you can enjoy the trips, but you will never have the same peace of mind as if you would have just gotten a proper visa. Yeah, because it's also costly. You need to fly somewhere, you need to take a bus somewhere, you need to stay somewhere. You're also spending money if you're leaving the country every single time. And in the end, I'm wondering what's cheaper, to just get a proper visa or border hopping every 6 months and then also having different kinds of arguments on the borders every single time with the people of the immigration. I think this point, first off, it doesn't give you the most peace of mind. Secondly, it's also an intense financial investment every 6 months, even if you can afford it. Just the stress of like planning all the time a trip somewhere. And this is also what I heard from a couple of people I know. They did it a couple of times and after a while, because they really see themselves living in Kenya, they're also tired of this. They just want to settle in the country. They want to do things on their own name. They want to just reside like a proper person in the country. So it doesn't give you the most peace of mind. What is one of the most important things, if I want to live and reside somewhere, that I have all the documents right and everything is easier in the long run for you. Another potential downside is the following. So first off, if you really see yourself living in Kenya for a long time, you maybe want to buy a house there, you want to invest there, you want to do, maybe you want to have a family there or something, or want to bring your family there to live there permanently. You also don't have the chance, if you're coming on a tourist visa, to get a permanent residency. And so far, if you've been living in Kenya for 7 years on a proper residency visa, you are granted the permanent residency. I know there might be also a lot of hiccups here and there, but then at least you can have the peace of mind and just come to Kenya on a permanent residence visa as well. And something like this on a tourist visa is not possible for anyone who's doing this way. So it will cost you also a couple of years of the time you could potentially have already gotten closer to the permanent residency, as if you would have just gotten the proper visa in the first place. So if you really see yourself long term in Kenya, living in Kenya, then it might make more sense for you to just get the proper visa too, and not just border hop and like all the time being on a consistent kind of stress. And what I also see is that other African countries are also making some of these visa regulations a bit stricter. For instance, I was in South Africa and this year they have this policy that you also just allowed 180 days in the country and you are not able to come into the country again until this period has passed. So you can just stay half of the year in South Africa when you come in as a tourist, but you're not legally able to do anything there or come again afterwards, at least from the knowledge I acquired while staying in South Africa and getting in touch with some of the immigration points while leaving and coming back when I was on my trip to Namibia. What could happen to Kenya too is that might be at some point the regulations can change quickly, and if you are just on a tourist visa and you have your life set up there, it could be potentially that they will also give you a problem because of the way you stay in Kenya. I'm not telling you like not to do it, I'm just saying that you have potential risks and that some things could happen where you don't have an influence on, and then things will change for you very quickly and you don't have any option to stay there anymore properly because of the way you are in the country. But then what kind of alternatives do you have? As we said before, it's for me personally, it gives me more peace of mind, it gives me more freedom, it gives me more base to just call Kenya my actual home when I have a proper residency visa. And it also actually gives me the opportunity to travel within the East African community visa free. So I could go to Rwanda, to Burundi, to Uganda, and to any other country that's part of the East African community and will be part of it in the future without getting another visa for it. So it gives me more freedom, more peace of mind, and I can explore different parts of East Africa visa free as well. Then the alternative you would have as well, maybe what I'm telling everyone who's coming in the first place to Kenya is like playing with the idea in the head of moving to Kenya or to any other African countries. Just come and check it out, stay for a couple of months, stay for 3 months or whatever time you have to check out if you really enjoy it as much as you do. And then if you really see yourself living there in the long run, you make your experiences and you are ready to start a life there and settle there, then I think you could see what kind of visa alternatives you have. If you want to get on a retirement visa, what you can apply for when you are like over 35 and make a minimum of 24,000 US dollars in a year, you can apply for this one. If you're planning to start a business there, you can also come as an investor, you get a different visa for it. You can come as an employee if you find a proper job there in Kenya. They also launched officially in the end of last year, digital nomad visa. They announced it officially, but the launch I think might happen in this year as well. So they have different kinds of options they give you that you can stay properly in the country and stay here on the long term. What gives you freedom, what gives you the independence, what gives you peace of mind, and also lets you respect the rules of the country as well in a proper way, and also gives you the most out of your time in Kenya because you're just free to do whatever you want in the country. So just to give you a recap of my perspective on this is, it's completely fine if you go the way on the tourist visa as well, if this is what you want to choose. It works for many. I saw many people and everything is completely fine for it. But just personally for me, this wouldn't be the proper way. As I said, I need my peace of mind and I prefer to be able to do everything on the ground because I need the visa to do business as well on the ground. I needed the visa to make investments on the ground so that I'm just completely free to do whatever I want to do. But if you're just new to Kenya and coming here for the first time or first couple of times, or are not sure of where you are right now, of course, coming as a tourist is the best way possible to just get an experience, feel free a little bit and like check out things, how you feel. And if this is actually something you want to do in the long run, afterwards, if you're really sure and make the decision, then you can still apply for a proper visa and you can make you stay long term. But now let me know in the comments what you think about this and what you think is the best way possible of staying here in Kenya, or like maybe there's something else I didn't see. And watch some of the other videos I placed right above my head here where I talk about my journey of moving to Kenya, doing business and other African developments and opportunities. So thank you so much for watching.